Okay, so real talk. We've all been watching these guys race and thinking, yeah, I could probably do that. Like, how hard can it actually be, right? You're just driving, maybe leaning a little, pressing the brake at some point. So today, we're finding out exactly how fast a regular person like you or me would actually crash in each of these series. And I ranked them. We've got 4 series going head-to-head today: WRC, NASCAR, MotoGP, and F1. And before anyone says anything, yes, they're all completely different. That's kind of the whole point.
We're judging each one on 4 things. First, speed, obviously. Second, G-force, which is basically how hard the universe is trying to fold you in half. Third, visibility, as in how much can you actually see while this is happening to you. And fourth, margin for error, which in most of these cases is basically 0. Just to set a baseline here, the average person maxes out at around 5G before they start blacking out. Fighter pilots train for years to handle more than that. Racing drivers just do it every weekend. Your body genuinely starts shutting down vision at 6G. Blood can't get to your brain fast enough. You go gray, then black. It happens in seconds. And reaction time. A regular person reacts in about 250 milliseconds. A trained racing driver, around 150. That doesn't sound like a lot, but at 200 miles an hour, that gap is literally the length of a football field. Also, just look at the size difference between your daily and what these guys are actually driving. It's not even the same category of machine. Like your car feels fast on the highway, it's not fast. This is fast. Okay, I think we've established that none of us are ready for this. But let's find out exactly how not ready we are. Starting from the bottom, working our way up to the one that would genuinely end most people on lap 1. All right, kicking things off with WRC, World Rally Championship. And before you go, oh, that's just driving on dirt? No, it is not. These stages run through actual forests, actual mountains, roads that are sometimes literally just wide enough for the car. There are trees on both sides, and if you touch one, you're done. The surface is loose gravel, mud, snow, sometimes whatever the stage throws at you. And these guys are doing 130 miles an hour on it. The technique they use is called oversteer, which sounds cool until you realize it means the back of the car is actively trying to overtake the front. You're basically controlling a slide at all times. Oh, and you have a co-driver sitting right next to you, reading out pace notes at full speed. Like hairpin left, don't cut, caution over crest, junction right, non-stop. The whole stage. Miss one note. 1. And you're going off a cliff. Like literally off a cliff. Some of these stages have drops that would make you cry. Visibility in the wet? Basically nothing. Windshield gets coated in mud in the first kilometer, and you're just kind of hoping. The gravel hitting the underside of the car sounds like someone unloading a shotgun at you, by the way, continuously, for the entire stage. Night stages are a whole other conversation. Your headlights give you maybe 2 seconds of warning before the next corner. That's it. And there's no traction control on most of these cars. No driver aids, just you, the road, and your co-driver yelling. The jumps, though. Nobody talks about the jumps enough. Some of these crests send the car fully airborne, like all 4 wheels off the ground, and you have to land it and immediately turn. The G-forces aren't the highest in this list, but they're the most unpredictable. You're getting hit from every direction, every few seconds. Your body never gets to settle. Verdict? Most people wouldn't make it past stage 1. Honestly, probably corner 3 of stage 1. WRC gets a 7.5 out of 10 on the you would crash scale, because it's certainly that you would crash, and one of the technology of WRC is making you perfectly safe when this happens. Number 3, NASCAR. And I already know what some of you are thinking. It's just turning left. Yeah, okay, let's talk about that. 200 miles an hour, bumper to bumper, 40 cars, for 4 hours. If you make one small mistake, one twitch, you're taking out half the field. The draft is what makes NASCAR genuinely terrifying for a newcomer. You get sucked into this pack of cars, and the aerodynamics from all of them together are basically controlling you as much as your steering wheel is. And if that draft breaks suddenly, which it does, you have about half a second to react before things get very bad very fast. The physics of drafting are actually wild. The car in front punches a hole in the air and you slot into it. Sounds chill. What they don't tell you is when it snaps, you feel it in your whole body and the car just goes. The cockpit temperature inside a NASCAR Cup car during a race can hit 60 degrees Celsius. That's 140 Fahrenheit in a fire suit for 4 hours. Drivers lose like 3 kilos of water weight every race just from sweating. There's no power steering in most Cup cars either. You are physically wrestling that wheel for the entire race. Your forearms are done after lap 20. The banking at somewhere like Talladega is 33 degrees. That's steep enough that if the car stopped moving, it would just slide down the wall. The speed is literally what keeps you glued to it. So if you slow down too much on the banking, the car wants to go up and over. You have to keep the speed up just to stay on the track. Think about that for a second. Because the oval only turns left, the right side tires wear out way faster than the left side. Managing that tire wear over a long run while racing 39 other people is its own skill entirely. A tire blowout at 190 miles an hour in NASCAR is one of the most violent things that can happen in motorsport. The car just snaps and you're in the wall before you even process what happened. Pit stops, 4 seconds. They change 4 tires, add fuel, make adjustments in 4 seconds. And you have to hit the pit box exactly right or you're losing time and potentially getting penalized. While also talking to your spotter on the radio, managing fuel, watching your mirrors for lapped cars, keeping the car in the right lane for the draft, all simultaneously, all at speed. And then there's the big one. The big one is what happens when the draft breaks wrong at a superspeedway and suddenly 20 cars are going in 20 different directions and there is genuinely nowhere to go. The worst part about the big one, you won't see it coming. The car in front of you will just suddenly be sideways and you have 0 time. Every driver at a superspeedway knows the big one is coming at some point in the race. They just don't know when, and they race anyway. Respect, honestly. NASCAR gets an 8 out of 10. The endurance alone would break most people before the danger even got them. Number 2, MotoGP. And this is where we start leaving normal human logic behind entirely. There is no cage. There is no seatbelt. There is no car around you. It's just you and 300 horsepower between your knees, and if something goes wrong, you are going to meet the tarmac personally. These guys lean so far into corners that their elbows scrape the ground. Their elbows. On the ground. At 180 miles an hour. A high-side crash, which is where the rear grip comes back too suddenly, and the bike snaps upright and launches you, is one of the nastiest crashes in any sport. You go up before you go down, and it is not a good time. The airbag suits deploy in 25 milliseconds, which sounds fast until you realize that's the only thing standing between a MotoGP crash and a very bad injury. A little inflatable jacket. 25 milliseconds, by the way, is faster than you can blink. The suit detects the crash starting and fires before your brain has even registered that something is wrong. The braking in MotoGP is almost incomprehensible. They go from 200 miles an hour to like 40 inches, the space of a few bike lengths. The front fork compresses so hard, the front of the bike looks like it's trying to touch the ground. Every single braking zone, your body wants to go over the handlebars. Every one. You're fighting that with your arms and your core the entire race. And the body position. They hang so far off the inside of the bike that a significant portion of their body is basically in the air next to the bike. It's an insane amount of physical trust in your own technique. There is almost zero runoff at most MotoGP circuits. You go off the track and you're in the gravel or the barriers almost immediately. The margin is basically the width of a white line. MotoGP gets a 9 out of 10. The only reason it's not a 10 is because at least you're not in an enclosed cockpit slowly cooking while this is happening to you. And then there's F1. 0 to 100 miles an hour in 2.6 seconds. Your face doesn't move with the rest of your head. Your vision tunnels. Your neck is doing things it was never designed to do. 6G in a corner, 6 times your body weight, sustained, for the entire corner, and some corners last 2 or 3 seconds. Your neck muscles have to hold your head up against the equivalent of 6 heads stacked on top of each other. The steering wheel has more buttons than my laptop. Brake bias, differential, engine modes, fuel mix, drink button, radio, all of it being adjusted mid-corner at 180 miles an hour. The cockpit hits 50 degrees Celsius during a race. Drivers lose about 3 kilos of water weight per race. You're essentially sitting in an oven going 200 miles an hour. The braking from 200 miles an hour down to 40 happens in about 1.8 seconds. The deceleration is so violent that if you weren't strapped in, you'd go straight through the steering wheel. And the braking zones are measured in meters. Brake 10 meters too late, and you're in the gravel. 10 meters. At 200 miles an hour, that's a fraction of a second of hesitation. If you do hit the barriers, the impact forces are measured in the hundreds of G. The car is designed to absorb that and fall apart around you, which is comforting, I guess. The wall is not a cushion, it is a wall. It just happens to be made of materials that are slightly better than concrete. So here's the final ranking. WRC at 7.5, NASCAR at 8, MotoGP at 9, and F1 at, I'm giving it a 10, a full 10. No regular person is surviving lap 1. But here's the thing that I keep coming back to. Every single driver in every single one of these series started as a regular person, some kid in a kart going way too fast on a go-kart track somewhere. And that's kind of why we're all here, right? We love these machines. We love what they represent. The idea that speed is something you can actually chase. We watch this stuff because somewhere in the back of our head, we're always asking, what would that feel like? Anyway, if you made it this far, you're clearly one of us. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one. It's going to be good.